Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is Learning with Kharis, our Thursday session, helping nonprofits and businesses with key nuggets and advice to accelerate your nonprofit and business to the level of success that you deserve to impact your community and to leave a legacy. I'm excited today to talk about this subject of the five common nonprofit mistakes. Excuse me, turn that down. And then how to overcome them. So I'm going to give it just a little bit more as we have some people join in, and then we're going to get started with sharing the information. And if you are watching and joining, thank you for joining. I'm Shanquetta Cunningham, the owner and operator of Kharis Group, where we work with nonprofits, communities, and small women businesses in the areas of leadership, strategic development, and fundraising via grant writing. So if you are watching later on YouTube, be sure to like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel so you will always be in the know of all great things happening within the nonprofit world, and then how you can use the information to impact your community. I think if I did not ask, please again, share the video as well, tag some other great leaders that you know could benefit from this information. And we're gonna wait about another 30 seconds to a minute, press record, and we are going to get started. All righty. Again, I'm Shanquetta Cunningham of the Kharis Group, and you are here today with Learning with Kharis. It's the intentional space to offer free information for you great nonprofit and business leaders, and in turn for you to take this information to implement, execute, and scale in your nonprofit and business capacity. So we have some great information to share with you today. As a consultant, I am often met with entities that start up, particularly nonprofit organizations. And the first thing that's always asked is, hey, I started a nonprofit, now I need a grant. And I started a nonprofit, now I need funding. Well, for sure, we know that money is a great tool, but there are also some common mistakes or some not so common mistakes that we are aware of. And after nearly a decade of consulting, there are some common themes that I see when it comes to nonprofit startup and working with small groups and trying to figure out how do I combine my passion with making money, impacting my community, and how all of those things work to ensure that you have a solidified program that, yes, answers the call that you have, but equally important, answers the community need. Your nonprofit should be established to eliminate, to eradicate, to decrease a barrier that's existing in your community. And we often need to ensure that we check the heart of our nonprofit, ensure we are on that right path. So with that, let's get started with 5 common mistakes that's made by nonprofit startups. And then after I share the common mistakes that's made by nonprofit startups, I'm also going to share with you the solutions to overcome them. So again, you can take this information and implement it for your success. All righty. So let's get to our first tip. Now, mistakes we know can keep you stuck strategically and hinder your operations. I often like to say that mistakes are teachable moments for sure. But today I want to share with you some teachable moments that nonprofit startups often make. And then again, how do we overcome them? So let's go to mistake number one, not transferring business principles into your nonprofit planning process. So when oftentimes that we're creating a nonprofit, we really forget that nonprofits are businesses with a heart. The nonprofit is a tax exemption status in a category, but it indeed is not a financial model. The same aspects of creating a business, of doing your research, of reaching out to ensure that you have a grasp on the actual need of what's going on in your area, actually sitting down to make a plan. All of those elements are instrumental when you're starting your nonprofit organization. So, one, we want to ensure that we incorporate business principles into our nonprofit planning process. And remember, after this, I'm going to give you a solution to do that. Two, another common mistake that we have when we're starting a nonprofit organization, that we believe family members can turn their love for you into the skills needed to build your nonprofit organization. I get it. Family members, close friends, they love you, they care for you, they support you, and you want to ensure that you have people that's loyal to you, that understands you, that can help you build. But oftentimes that love are not trans is not, excuse me, transferable to fundraising, to gathering volunteers and donors. And so while it is great to have people on board that love you, you want people also on board that have the skill set to accomplish the mission. Because remember, as a nonprofit, you have a responsibility for public impact over personal loyalty. Number three, another mistake that's often made with startup nonprofits is that you believe you can't have user fees. Yes, nonprofits can charge for a basic service at a lower rate than what you would find at a store or at another entity or with another service. So let me give you an example. Do you recall thrift stores in your communities, such as Goodwill? Goodwill does not have the same prices as Target, right? They have an opportunity for people to come in and get great quality stuff at a lower cost value, and that in turn supplements their nonprofit organization. Those are user fees. They have additional ways to generate income. And so, yes, as a nonprofit, even though your point is not to sit here and make, and you didn't construct your nonprofit to rake in $5 million to pocket. You want to use that money for nonprofit and for public good, but you actually need money to run a nonprofit. Going back to tip number one, that you have to have business principles. So nonprofits, they need to keep the lights on, and people can still support you. And it's not the best plan to wait for this donor that'll drop off $10,000 in your lap or for this next grant to roll around. I promise you, I get it. But again, nonprofits can charge user fees. And we'll get into some of those solutions in a bit. Let me cover point number four, which actually kind of merges with point number three about financial statuses and charging user fees. That one of the common mistakes when you're starting a nonprofit is believing that grants are the unicorn for financial success. Now, as a grant writer, I promise you, I get this great success that can come from this fundraising source. But grants are supplemental funding. They should be a part of a larger scheme of your entire financial plan. They are supplemental to fundraisers, to donations, to signature events. And so when you throw all your eggs in one basket, or you go to a consultant, and you believe that that consultant can get you $5 million with one application. I promise you, I'm still trying to find that. But right now, it's not there. And so grants are a part of your holistic scheme to generate the funds that you need to serve your community. Number five, the last point I want to give you when it comes down to nonprofit mistakes and in the startup stage. And what I mean by startup, I'm typically talking to organizations that literally just started till about 3 to 4 years in their infancy stage. We have to ensure that we keep the mission first. Sometimes there is mission abandonment or mission neglect because you're in survival mode and you do things or you change your program format up to chase the dollar. Growing pains can often distract nonprofit leaders and startup organizations from the mission and intended impact. You have to keep the mission at the forefront of all you do. This is why planning is so important so you can avoid mission compromise. Because the moment you start tailoring your program to fit a certain donor style, to fit certain grants, then you'll always find yourself adjusting to ensure that you meet the needs of those that's given to you instead of meeting the needs of those that need your services and could benefit from you solving a problem in their lives. So let's go back and revisit the 5 common nonprofit mistakes, and then I'm going to give you solutions to combat those mistakes. So number one, we discussed not transferring business principles into your nonprofit planning process. So what's the solution to that problem? Create a business plan or a lean canvas for growth. You can create a 1 to 3 page plan. Doesn't have to be 20 to 30 pages in length, but you want to outline a process of how you're going to reach your target audience, like a business plan, which are the people that need your services. You want to outline how you're going to attract funding. And remember, it's a plan. It doesn't mean that you are going to meet every step. And plans are living and breathing documents, so they can be amended, they can be redacted, but just have a plan. You have to figure out how you are going to impact and increase simultaneously, but keep the mission first. Two, we talked about believing family members can turn their love of you into skills that will benefit your nonprofit. That's a nonprofit mistake and typically seen with startups. So, what's the solution for that? You want to look for added value with other people that you know or encounter. What's missing? If it's been hard for you to engage and meet with other donors, if it's hard for you to put on a fundraiser, if it's hard for you to grant write, I recognize now that when you are a business or a nonprofit organization, you're going to need the 3 C's, either a coach, a consultant, or a counselor along the way. And so you want to ensure that you add those people or service, get a service from those people who can add that value so that you can get to your next level. I often tell people you get what you pay for, and you also get what you don't pay for. So yes, board of directors, they volunteer. You want to look for people that can help you with human resources, with fundraising, and with program design. And then what you don't know, you can also buy. You can buy to courses and to programs and work with consultants to get you the added value you need to get you to the next level of success. Three, what's another common mistake that's often seen with startup founders? That you believe you can't have user fees or that you can't charge within your nonprofit. So what's the solution for that? You can think of creative ways to offer services that normally would cost people higher rates or an arm and a leg to receive. I think about the thrift store analogy I gave you with the Goodwill. How you can go in and purchase quality items at low cost at their thrift stores. And do you remember organizations like YMCA that you can go swimming for lower rates that you could go swimming at by paying, high club fees at other places? You can, if you're offering a tutoring program for free, but you want to start, charging to review writing papers that's written by seniors. and you want to charge, lower review services than what they would normally pay for another tutor at a high, an expensive program. But there are ways that you can generate funds. So think about what you're good at, what you offer, and how you can offer that and also benefit the community that you're serving at the same time. Remember, nonprofit is a tax category, but it should not be your financial model. Number four, believing grants are the unicorn for financial success is probably the number one most common and misunderstood form of fundraising and generating the support you need in your nonprofit. So let me offer you a solution. No, grants are not the one all in all. You should seek to build a donor base. Every time that you go out to talk about your nonprofit, you want to gather emails so that you can start preparing a newsletter to share with individuals as you're asking for contributions to your nonprofit. You want to keep your social media pages updated and have ways for people to donate and give to you on your website. You always want to ensure that you're gathering the information of the people that you come in contact with so that you can begin to build this list, keep people in mind, because actually you want to be able to say, we're funded by the community that we serve. You're going to have to get out. It's not one of those things that just because you have built it, people will come. You have to engage as well. There's a responsibility to access other people's funds. People don't have to just give to you because you are a nonprofit. They want to see the impact and the results. And so you have to engage with people. You have to strategically get the information that you need to share about what you are doing to improve your community. And our last one, we want to ensure that we keep the mission first, which is often neglected when we are in the startup stage, the growing stage, or sometimes the struggle stage of survival. So what's the solution to that? Review your impact statement quarterly. You should have your mission statement and your impact statement. What is it that we want to do? How many people are we trying to target? And what's the expected outcome? What do we want to see with our own eyes? That yes, will make our heart feels good, but we can measure. You can do simple things like reciting your mission and impact statement before your meeting. You can have it down on your agenda so that every time you come together as a board and volunteers for the organization and staff, your mission, your impact statement is right in front of you so that you are always reminded of the why. All righty. I hope that you have enjoyed these 5 tips yes, that's been given of the 5 common mistakes that small nonprofits make. And I get it. In the startup stage, it's teachable moments. Even when you're seasoned, you're going to always have teachable moments when you're building your nonprofit. But I hope these tips today will shed some insight into how you can recognize some of the nuances of the startup process, how to recognize that these are issues that are not and that have been stagnant when it comes to solution, and that you can integrate the solution shared with you today. But before I go, let me share something else with you. So as a consultant, again, with over a decade of experience working with nonprofit organizations, I recognize that we're all at certain places and that sometimes you may not feel like you need a program or you even have the time and the capacity to dive deep or the financial resources to dive deep into a program. But you recognize that if I could just get the next right step, I can implement the solution, or we have the capacity to implement the solution to our nonprofit success. We just need the know-how. We have all the ideas, but we just need a plan of action. So that's where I come in at. I am a strategist. If there is something that's going on within your leadership capacity, board development and onboarding and grant writing and program design, and you're feeling like, man, I have this idea. I know that we can do this, but we just need a plan of action. And if this is the space that you are in and you don't have a lot of time, let me invite you to schedule a transformation session. Now, in this session, it's an in depth conversation with myself. And what we will do is go over the pain points that you're having, whether it's with recruiting board members, it's raising money, or you have an idea for an event, a program, a fundraiser, and you're trying to figure out how do I connect to the right people and how do I even build this signature event, or we have a grant that we're looking over and we're really just needing some insight and some best practices for grant success. Then again, I invite you to spend 60 minutes with me in this transformation session. We'll go through your pain points, we'll assess the roadblocks and unpack the limitations for impact that's, creating these barriers for you to get to the next right step. And by the time that we'll end, you'll have an action plan that will be intentional, will be simplified so that you can implement everything that was shared so that you can get to that next great step. And so what I'm going to do at the end of this video is pin the schedule link so that you can engage and figure out the best time that works for you and or your team for us to sit down for 60 minutes. Now, this needs to be an uninterrupted 60 minutes on your end. No distractions, no dings from social media. We're going to be together and we're going to work it out because what you do in the community is so valuable. We need to ensure that we have clarity and have a plan of action. So if you are interested and you know that you are the nonprofit or the business that needs the strategy, the clarity, and the value that will come from spending 60 minutes with me, then again, I'm going to put the link in the comments and I look forward to talking with you. All righty. So this is today's session with Learning with Kharis, the 5 common startup mistakes made by nonprofit leaders. And if you are a business owner watching this, you may find some value in this as well. And until next time, I will see you. And I thank you so much for joining today's Learning with Kharis. Have a great Thursday.